increased support for our Australian Defence Force, but the government needs to just stop re-announcing the same things over and over again. This issues raised today were on the table prior to the defence update of 2020. So once again, we see a re-announcement, but with an inflated price to hide the fact that this government doesn't deliver. It's always good at announcements. That's the one thing you can set your watch by, is that there'll be announcements from this government on a regular basis. What I want to see is some actual delivery. And no doubt when Scott Morrison visits Darwin today for the first time, it must be said, in a couple of years. Last time he visited a defence area, we had the Top Gun soundtrack out running. We had a whole lot of money spent on that photo opportunity. We'll wait and see what we have in store, what the soundtrack is, whether he's in a tank or in a fighter plane or somewhere else. You know, our defence services deserve support more than they deserve a Prime Minister who seems intent on using them for photo opportunities at each and every occasion.
Stolen Generation survivors from the Northern Territory are taking their fight for compensation to the courts, with legal firm Shine preparing to file a class action against the federal government this morning. Does the Commonwealth owe them compensation?
The Labor Party took to the last election, and it's not changed, a commitment to compensate members of the Stolen Generation from capital territories, including the Northern Territory. Shine Lawyers is launching a class action today, and there is about 800 people attached to that class action. But the commitment of our party is to compensate those where there has been no compensation scheme in place, and they are from the capital territories.
Do you have a response to that as well, Albert? Do you think that the government has a role to step in?
Well, Linda has stated Labor's position on this issue. It's one we've been consistent on. I've said, I think yesterday, that my proudest moment in the Parliament has been the day in which Kevin Rudd issued the apology to the Stolen Generations. It is the confidence of how that was received that gives me great confidence that when the Parliament addresses giving a voice to Parliament enshrined in our Constitution, that it will be as unifying a moment when that referendum takes place as the apology to Stolen Generations was.
Just on tourism, Linda, if you're happy to answer, how important do you think sort of the returning of tourism is to the economic advancement of communities like Mutitjulu and across Australia?
Well, our discussions yesterday with Mutitjulu, which was about 2 hours at the community centre itself, clearly outlined to us just how important communities like Mutitjulu saw tourism as part of their way forward. As Anthony has said, in terms of employment and opportunity, particularly for young people, but importantly, having a stake in the tourism sector. Now, this is important here at Uluru and Mutitjulu. It's equally important in many communities across the country. And one of the really fantastic things that we've heard whilst we're here is the employment of young First Nations people by voyagers through the Accor Group and their national arrangement. I've been, as Anthony has, right across this country, and tourism to Indigenous people is critically important. And one of the things that's very noticeable when people visit places like Uluru, visit Australia from other countries, amongst what they want to have is an Indigenous experience, and that's something that I think.
We have a breakdown